no matter what your label is, or even if it's a label that you've placed on yourself, these foods will make you feel so great, allow you to live. So hang tight.
You're listening to Living Beyond with Hope. Hey, that's me.
Welcome to the podcast. This podcast is meant to help you realize you're more than a label, and you too can create a life you love despite it. Each week, we bring you tips and inspiring messages to help you take the positive steps in your health that will allow you to live beyond. Now sit back, relax, meal prep, or take a walk as you dig into today's topic with your host, a gal living her life to the fullest with type 1 diabetes, Hope Mangiafico.
Welcome. I'm super excited to be back. I am really stoked. It's been a while and I'm hopping back into the content about my daily routine. So if you're new here, a few things for you. My name is Hope and I live with type 1 diabetes, and my whole purpose, why I exist, why I do what I do, why I share what I know, is to help other people that may have had a label placed on their life, may have had diabetes placed on them, type 1, type 2, or a doctor diagnosed with something, or they place the label on themselves. And it can feel really defeating. And so what I like to do is teach you how to not feel limited and how to live beyond your label. So that's what I do. So if you're new, I hope that I can help you live beyond your label and what I would consider your dream life. So what we're going to talk about today is food that fuels your body, that allows you to live. And I think that this topic could be so dang boring because so many people talk about this kind of stuff and it's like not that exciting. But what I'm here to tell you, and those hearts are so cool. What I'm here to tell you is it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be gross, and it can be delicious. Really, that's like what's most important to me, is it's like the most delicious thing in the world. So I'm going to tell you how I kind of do my day, what my food looks like, and what my eating habits look like. And you don't have to necessarily do what I do, copy what I do. We all have different labels, but what I will tell you is that everything that I do works for probably 90% of the population. And I want to tell you that it works, but it doesn't happen overnight. And I don't want you to feel defeated. I don't want you to be like, I've heard this before. It never works. Like, hear me out. And I want to help you on this journey. So a lot of us think that unprocessed diets sound pretty boring. And to be honest, they kind of do. I learned about an unprocessed diet a while ago, and it was really boring. And not just like necessarily boring, but I wasn't seeing the results with my label, with my diabetes that I was expecting to be eating clean and everything. Like, things were just not going smoothly for me. And for you, it might look different. An unprocessed diet could look like a lot of different things. But for me, it looked like quinoa, sweet potatoes, oatmeal, fruit, veggies, things like that. And they don't sound bad. But what I want to tell you is what my unprocessed diet looks like and how I eat helps me with my diabetes, helps thousands of other people due to research and what I've heard, other people with diabetes and other people with other labels. So unprocessed diet looks like, why it's delicious and why it doesn't have to be boring, and a few resources for you that I think you will absolutely love. So thanks for hanging tight. I promise you this is going to be worth your time. So here's what I eat. And remember, I have an unprocessed diet and I feel amazing all the time and I don't miss all the junk, and it's a process. I think that's the biggest take home point, is as I talk to you, you have to remember that it is a process and it takes time. And if you've tried this before and felt like you were failing, you're probably overcomplicating it, and that, or you were bored. So I want to encourage you to not let that happen. And I have a few resources to help you do that. So here's what I eat on a weekly basis: pizza, brownies, ice cream, cupcakes, and not just like cupcakes, but like cream-filled cupcakes, like yumma, rice, fries, pancakes, chicken nuggets. Like, what the dump? That's what I eat on a regular basis. And I'm trying to think if there's like any other really cool thing that would just make you be like, what? How does she do that? those are my big ones. And we do like fried rice. We do like Chinese themed stuff. We do sushi. And if you know anything about diabetes, 80% of the time when I eat these foods, I don't have to take insulin. And I have stable blood sugars. I feel great. And no matter what your label is, or even if it's a label that you've placed on yourself, these foods will make you feel so great, allow you to live. And yeah, you're like, what? Hang tight. So they're easy to make. Like, that's what I like to focus on, is having foods that fuel you and are easy, because no one got time to spend hours in the kitchen, but no one's got time for that. And sometimes I do it because I enjoy it. Or what I do is I find a recipe, I create it so that it's friendly for everyone, because a paleo diet or Whole30, things like that, they're whole unprocessed foods and they're so good for you. But for someone like myself with diabetes, they still cause blood sugar spikes sometimes, or if they don't cause long-term blood sugar spikes, they do at first. And from my experience going unprocessed and still keeping like a lot of sweet potatoes and fruits in my diet, I felt very sickly, like bedridden. And cauliflower, someone just said cauliflower is the bomb. Cauliflower is the bomb.com. Actually, I need to add that to my list of must-haves at your house. So with that being said, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite things and things that you need to have at your house all the time to make some of the most simple recipes. And then I want to give you a resource where you can get really awesome recipes. So if you want to, if all these foods that I listed, like pizza and ice cream, pancakes and fries, if you're like, wow, that sounds amazing, I do have a Kickstarter recipe book. It is not all of these recipes. It's a Kickstarter. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. But if that sounds like something you'd like, you can go to www.myhopefulhealth.com/recipes and find them there. And after that, like, be sure to follow me on whatever social medias you want to. I've been taking a little bit of a break from social media because I've been doing some secret crafting in the background for everyone. But I like to share a lot of recipes, especially on Snapchat. That's kind of one of my favorite things to do. So if you like those recipes, be sure to follow me in other places so that you find out about them. So that's your first thing. And now, must-haves to always have at your house or your kitchen. You need frozen vegetables. And y'all, I have to say, cauliflower is one of the frozen veggies that I always have. Cauliflower, broccoli, and kind of like a medley where you have broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. So, and Brussels sprouts. I get frozen Brussels sprouts a lot. And I love nuts, and I try to eat less nuts because I eat too many of them. And my Snapchats are funny. Thank you. I try to have fun with them. And it's a fun place to get to know people. So definitely follow me on Snapchat. But I do love nuts. But we're not going to go there because it's easy to overeat those. And so I'm not going to say you should have those in your house all the time. Almonds are great though. And that is one of my must-haves at your house. So frozen veggies, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels. Holy cow, Brussels sprouts. I haven't been eating them my whole life. I'm like 4 months into it maybe, and we're like Brussels all day, every day. So focus on getting those things. Chicken sausage, I get it at Trader Joe's, but it's one of those things that are already cooked and they're full of healthy fats, which I practice low carb, high fat. So being able to just throw that and heat it up and have a meat and have vegetables ready, it's magical. And you can put your coconut oil. So you guys, if you follow me for very long, you know I'm like, all hail coconut oil. So I get Nativia refined because it's unprocessed. It's not full of bleach and chemicals, or unrefined, but it depends if you like the coconut taste. And focus on, I love the refined because I put it in everything, but it's amazing and I love it. So frozen vegetables, chicken sausage, coconut oil, almond flour. So I eat a lot of nuts, and nuts are great for you, but they don't fill me up. And I eat like 4 servings at a minimum at a time. So I've told myself not to have them in the house anymore, but I do have almond flour in the house. And you can get that at Trader Joe's as well. And it is absolutely delicious and makes some amazing recipes. The recipes in the Kickstarter cookbook, recipe book, I won't call it a cookbook. People don't like it being called a cookbook because there's not 50 recipes, but it is a recipe book. There's no almond flour recipes there, but I do have some recipes for people to be able to download and get later that are like phenomenal, where you get the cupcakes and brownies and things like that. And boiled eggs. And I really like to do, and I'm telling you, everything that I'm listing pretty much, unless it's frozen, you can get off Amazon. And so if you're like, oh, these all sound great, this is genius, mind blown, you can go to hopesfavorites.com, which is where it's my Amazon store, so that all my stuff is all easily accessible for you, where you can download it, because a lot of the things I get are off Amazon. So what I like to do, this is key. So like, be sure you're like leaning in, listening to me. When you get frozen vegetables and eggs and really anything, but this is key for you, is meal prepping, okay? You've got to meal prep. And that sounds torturous because it's like spending 5 hours in the kitchen. And I get it. Like, I totally get that. It's not fun. But what's really cool is if you get this tiered food steamer, which if you ever follow my Snapchat, I snap it all the time because I think it was like God's gift to me. It's like a 3-4 tiered thing. And I can put eggs on the bottom to be boiled and vegetables. So like Brussels, broccoli, cauliflower, and eggs to be steamed for like 30, 40 minutes. And I have a week's worth of eggs and veggies already ready. There's some chicken sausage in there with some oil. And you have no excuse not to have an amazing meal. And let me tell you, when you spice it up with some seasoning, salt, pepper, oil, so good. I like dream of this stuff and it's so easy. It's a joke. So that tier, if there's like one thing you can invest in your health, I would say it's to get that food steamer tier that can be put on your countertop to use every Sunday night before the week starts. And again, you can get that at hopesfavorites.com, and it's from Amazon. And they're so affordable, and it's just a breath of fresh air. I'm talking about foods that fuel you and how to do it easily, because ain't nobody got time to spend hours in the kitchen. Just because I do it doesn't mean other people have time to do it. So just hang tight and listen to me, and I'll do a quick recap at the end. So we got frozen veggies, we've got chicken sausage, coconut oil, a countertop steamer, and that is ridiculous time saver. All right. Okay, this one's you would not expect. Lily's chocolate chips. This stuff is amazing. It's sweetened with erythritol and stevia. We don't eat Splenda. And it doesn't mess up blood sugars, which if you don't have diabetes, you have to be aware that your blood sugars are heavily influenced by your food too. And your diet, depending on how you eat, is significant on what your future may look like in diagnosis in the future. So you have to remember that just because you do not have a diabetes label like myself, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't start taking care of yourself now, and you can do it in the most delicious ways possible. So Lily's chocolate chips are my jam. I should have brought my box in here. We just ordered a box of 12 and we already had 6 bags. I spent $60 on chocolate chips. So if you don't take me serious here, I don't know if we can be friends. This helps me so much because I have a sweet tooth. And obviously, I tell you, I make brownies and cupcakes and ice cream and pancakes because I like the maple syrup. Like, it's ridiculous. And these chocolate chips, I can eat them without having a blood sugar spike, without needing insulin. And I feel amazing when I eat it. And so does my husband. And I like now, if I have like real chocolate, I can have like a little bit too much. So like a Lily's, especially if you're like a chocoholic and you don't want to take the time to make your own brownies or something like that, just a scoop of these and you're well on your way to feeling like so amazing. So Lily's and then avocados. And it's really important to incorporate because to have an unprocessed diet and to really feel good, you have to teach your body how to really utilize these healthy fats for fuel, because fats are dense, and so they give you a lot of energy. Hence why I'm so energized and like so excited about life, because I eat a lot of fat, and we eat probably like 2.5 to 3 avocados a day here, and whatever, it's delicious. And so we like to have those all the time so that even if we're eating kind of a higher carb, less fiber meal, or we're not having as much fats, we're not having as much oil or something like that, we like to be able to throw avocado on anything. And they are easy to buy where they're really hard, and you can put them in a brown paper bag to make them ready to go a little bit sooner. Or you can keep them in the fridge if they're getting ripe too fast. So they're great to have around, and you can keep them safe and sound for a while. Another thing that we like is almond flour, which I briefly mentioned already, but eat a lot of nuts. I do. I'm trying not to eat a lot of nuts. But almond flour, when you're ready to really dive into the kitchen and still make easy recipes, but they do require a little mixing, a little bit of work, almond flour will make all your dreams come true. I made pita bread last night with it. You can make all kinds of breads, brownies, pancakes, cookies, all those things with it. And you really don't miss the things that make you feel like complete crap, really, no matter what your label is. So almond flour. And then my last two things that I'm like, you must have it, are extracts. So we have gotten on a kick where we like peppermint extract, we like vanilla extract, maple extract, butter extract, banana extract. So I learned, like, I don't eat bananas. And I would say that a lot of you, no matter what your label may be, no matter how you feel, you should try and avoid bananas because they are just full of sugar. And if you're going to choose a fruit, like, that's not the fruit you should go to. There are a lot of better options. But I just made chocolate chip banana bread with almond flour and lilies and banana extract. And it felt like we ate the most real thing in the world. It was so good. And so if you ever feel like there's certain things that you miss and you can't taste and you feel lost and you feel deprived, which is something I never want anyone to feel, then I would encourage you to invest in some extracts. They are inexpensive, they go a really long ways, and they are great substitutes for foods that will usually bring you down versus lift you up. So extracts. Lastly, this is going to sound kind of weird, but this is a really easy go-to thing to have, and it allows you to make the most bangin' pizza in the world, is egg white protein powder. And that's also at hopesfavorites.com, and it's phenomenal. And it's the best protein you can consume, and you can make a protein shake when you're in a quick time crunch and you're like, I don't have time. Yo, this is high quality protein that makes you feel great, and it's very affordable. So these are the things that I'm like, you must have in your house. So I hope you took note of that and you remember it. So we have, a quick review. Frozen veggies, specifically cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli, and a medley are really important. Chicken sausage, eggs, boiled, makes life a little bit easier. Lilies, almond flour, avocado, egg white protein powder, and coconut oil, either unrefined, which is a little coconutty, or Nutivia refined. That's the only one I get, is the Nutivia refined if you're going to get it. And those are all at hopesfavorites.com. And you can get recipes at myhopefulhealth.com/recipes. And lastly, I want to share with you one resource that, before I let you go, one resource that is launching tomorrow, and you need to get your hands on it ASAP. And depending on when you're watching this, it might have already launched, but I'm sharing this with you because in case you're like, this sounds really great, Hope, I don't really know, like, I'm going to get your recipe book, but, I don't know if I'm ready to buy any of your recipes on your website or anything like that. One thing I want to tell you is someone that I look up to is Natalie Jill. And if you've ever seen her on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, she's launching a book. And I'm on her book launch team. I've read her book that's launching tomorrow. And I have to share it with you because she's all about an unprocessed diet. She makes them delicious and yummy, and they're awesome. She doesn't have as low of carb options as I have, but they are unprocessed, and for the most part, they're going to make you feel great. She's celiac, so they're gluten-free, and they leave you feeling great. It's nataliejillfitness.com/book, and once you buy it, you can buy it off Amazon or Barnes & Noble. You get like your receipt code and you put it in and you get the free workout program. I am a nutrition guru. I know all of this stuff, but her perspective is really cool. And I think that she simplifies things in a really great way. And I love to teach about nutrition. And I think that I'm not a bad teacher, but it's really cool to hear it from someone else, to explain it in a different way, and to learn exactly, I don't know, sometimes you learn things better from someone else. But I don't really know what you mean when you say this. Then this book could be worth your time and worth your investment. So these are my daily habits. These are the foods that I eat that allow me to have energy and to live beyond my label, to feel great, fueled, and energized. And that's what I want for you. That's what I try and bring to people. And I was going to also talk about how I started doing intermittent fasting, because that has allowed me to break free of my food obsession, if you will. As someone living with diabetes, I am constantly consumed with, I need to eat, when do I eat, how much can I eat? My world revolved around food, and intermittent fasting has freed me from that. But it is not for everyone, because I could not have jumped right into that without, I couldn't have just jumped into it. So I'm going to say that for another time. But if you have any questions about intermittent fasting, specifically with a label or diabetes specifically, I would be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So feel free to contact me through Facebook, through a message on my like page, or an email, or what have you. If you're on my email list, you can always reply back to one of the emails I send you, and I'd be happy to answer it. I think that that's going to be another topic for another day.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It means the world to me to be able to serve you and help you live beyond. If you found today's episode helpful or beneficial or share-worthy, I would love a review in iTunes. A review in iTunes allows me to know what was helpful and allows us together to continue to change lives and help other people live beyond their diagnosis or label. And if you did find this share-worthy or helpful, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. If you're on an Apple device, you can go to the podcast app or the iTunes store and type in Living Beyond with Hope, and there you can subscribe or listen to other episodes. When you subscribe, this allows you to know when there's a new podcast release. If you're on an Android device, no worries, I got you. All you have to do is download the Stitcher app and search for Living Beyond with Hope there and subscribe there. You can also go to www.livingbeyondwithhope.com if you would like to listen to the episode again, if you would like to see the show notes and any links that were mentioned in this episode. Today's episode was also brought to you by my Living Beyond the Label audiobook. If you enjoyed this and you like hanging out with me in your ear, then you would love to get your hands on this audiobook. It helps us together strategize your best and most balanced life. If you want to learn more about it and to get your hands on the audio and the worksheets that go with it, you can go to www.mybalanceplan.com. The link is also in the show notes, and there you'll be able to start strategizing your best life. Have an amazing rest of your day, and remember to keep living beyond.